Wisconsin Eye's 2014 election coverage is brought to you by the Wisconsin Hospital Association. For over 90 years, a valued voice for Wisconsin hospitals, supporting high-quality, high-value care in communities like yours.
Wisconsin Eye is at the Medford Public Library interviewing candidates in the 2014 election. We're interviewing James Edming of Glen Flora. He's the Republican candidate in the 87th Assembly District. Jimmy, welcome back to Wisconsin Eye.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Programming note, Wisconsin Eye appreciates the support of the Wisconsin Hospital Association, which represents more than 139 hospitals and health systems, for making these candidate interviews possible. You indicate on your campaign website that jobs in the 87th District is one of your top priorities, jobs and veterans, and we'll get to veterans later. Let me ask you this, Jimmy White. What hasn't been done to create jobs in the 87th District that you'd push for if you're elected?
I think one of the biggest issues of job creation is we have too many rules and too many regulations that entrepreneurs have to climb over these obstacles before they can ever get a business off the ground. And I believe that the Walker administration has eliminated some of them, but there's just too much red tape for someone to start a business, too much startup time wasted on it.
The reason I ask that is you've started 3 businesses, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Also, a priority with you are veterans. What new programs would you push for Wisconsin veterans, sir?
I believe that the largest issue with the veterans is when these folks are coming back from the battlefield. You've read in the news lately where these guys couldn't get in to see docs, couldn't get in to see physical therapy and whatnot. And what we have to do as legislators is take care of those that have seen to it that we have the freedoms that we have today. Okay. And that's a very, very strong issue to my heart that I'm going to go after and really push on.
Okay, now let's talk about some issues. Well, this is Northwest Wisconsin, so I want to ask you about 2 mining issues. First of all, frac sand mining must be a big issue in the 87th District, is it?
In the 87th, it's huge. We've got a huge sand mine in Rusk County over in Weyerhaeuser country.
Well, there seems to be a debate in the Capitol. State government should set minimal standards and local governments couldn't exceed them, or is it purely a local government issue?
I think the frac sand mining should be a local issue. The state can have a few guidelines that we have to go along with, but on the folks in Weyerhaeuser know how to handle their problems over there. The DNR is involved in it. They've got standards that they have to meet and qualities that they have to do. So that's already in place. But leave it up to the local people.
So the frac sand industry, as you've seen it in the 87th, is a good, productive citizen?
It is absolutely productive. If you go to Weyerhaeuser, stop at Barney's Grocery and talk to Virginia. Like she said, there were vacant houses in Weyerhaeuser. Today they're filled up. Their depot, the old depot, just got moved over. That's going to become a new village hall for them. They've redone streets. I mean, and they're creating some excellent jobs in the 87th.
Okay. Do you have a position on the proposed Gogebic iron mine in Ashland and Iron counties?
I think if it's done properly, it's all right.
Okay. One of the big issues is funding of schools next year. If you're in the Assembly, what are going to be your priorities when it comes to debating aid to schools?
Well, that's kind of a tough question for me to answer right now because I am just like everyone else in the state of Wisconsin. I have not had an opportunity to set in on how the distribution is going to be with the money. I'm going to get very involved in it because that also is very important. Our education of our youth is instrumental in the state of Wisconsin.
Part of that debate is voucher schools and choice schools. Your position on those?
Voucher and choice schools, I believe that should be a decision made at the kitchen table between mom and dad and the kids. I don't believe any state agency should tell you have to send your kids to a public school, a parochial school, or wherever. I believe that's a decision that's up to the family.
This summer, as you know, Governor Walker asked that Wisconsin withdraw from the Common Core standards. Your position on that?
I'm with him 100%. And if I can take just a minute on this, in arithmetic, when you and I went to school and we took arithmetic equation, 9 plus 6 equals 15. But that's not how they do it today. They take the number 9, and that's a very complicated number for our kids, they say. So what they do is they take the 6, and they take 1 from 6, which makes that a 5. And so you got a 1 and a 5 equals 6, and you got 9 over here. Now you take the 1 and add that to a 9, that makes that 10, and now it's 15. Now can you imagine how industry is going to handle this, how electrical engineers and mathematicians are going to have time to sit and futz around with these numbers trying to put them together. I mean, our math system works. This Common Core, I'm absolutely against it.
Okay.
I see where it's not going to do us a lot of good.
Let's talk about transportation funding. There's projections that the next transportation budget will be 600, maybe 700 million short. How should that deficit be filled?
That's an excellent question also, because the reason that this transportation fund is as low as it is because when the Doyle administration was in office, they raided the transportation fund. So when Governor Walker took over, the business was flat. It was broke, and how we're going to build that back up is going to be a real challenge, because I don't believe the taxpayers in Wisconsin can stand a heck of a lot more tax increases. And as a matter of fact, I signed the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights,
okay,
which says I will not increase your taxes. Doesn't say I'm not going to do some jiggling and joggling around in there with some of the numbers, but it's and I signed that. And I'm proud to say that I signed it.
Understand. That Taxpayer Bill of Rights that you signed applies then to no increase in the gas tax, no increase in the $75 you and I pay for our cars, right?
Absolutely. No wheel tax.
Okay, and no wheel tax.
You know.
Okay. Health care funding. As you know, 1 in 5 Wisconsin residents get their health care from our Medicaid system. The American Hospital Association says we're second lowest in Medicaid reimbursement rates. If you've studied the issue, do you think those rates should be increased, sir?
Medicaid right now, the way it's set up, Medicaid pays the hospitals 29.2% of cost. So if you went to the hospital and the bill was $100, the hospital is going to get from Medicaid $29.20. Now you've still got $70 and change that someone is going to make up. Now that makeup of that is going to be from folks like you and me. But however, I'm not going to say that we're ever going to be able to get that way up to 100%. But I think if we can increase that just a few points is going to make a terrific difference. I'm on the hospital board in Rusk County, and that 29.2% is really critical to our local hospitals, and that's going to have to be twisted up, ratcheted up a few points. However, we're going to ratchet that up without increasing your taxes.
Well, that leads to my next issue then. There was a report out this week that there's a potential $1 billion deficit in the next 2-year state budget. Now, because you've signed the no tax increase pledge, is there any other way to fix that potential deficit but cutting spending?
And I have done that for 42 years in private business. When all of a sudden the profits are not there and the sales are not there, you have to figure out a different way of doing it. And there again, what we have to do is we have to come up with some jobs. We have to create more revenue, not by increasing taxes. And jobs will take care of a huge chunk of that.
Okay, there'll be a bill reintroduced to legalize medical marijuana. States of Colorado and Washington have legalized the recreational use of marijuana. Your position on that issue?
I think when the state of Wisconsin, and I hope they don't, but if they legalize marijuana in the state of Wisconsin, what's going to happen is you're going to see the lazy become lazier. There's something about the stuff that makes people takes the drive out of people. Now, as far as marijuana use for, I believe they use it in some cancer treatments and something like that. If it's for that, I don't have a problem with it. But as far as legalizing it, and it's also the intro to a lot of hard other drugs, meth and opium and all that kind of stuff. It's the beginning stages of it, and I don't want to see that.
First offense drunken driving should be a crime?
Nope. I think that they've got, when I was a kid, I believe it was 2.0 was drunk. Now it's down to 0.08. I think you can, and I don't condone, or I don't want to see people drive drunk, but at .08, I think you should be able to have one or two shots at it, and after that, throw the book at them.
This is your fourth campaign for either the state senate or the state assembly.
Yes.
How's this campaign different than the other three?
Well, in this campaign, this is the first campaign that I've had, this one, where I actually have a fine, well-oiled machine. There's been volunteers that have come forward. I've got a treasure that's out of this world. We've got some very, very good people behind us helping us push this campaign forward.
Well, most people would say 3 strikes, okay, I'm out. I'm not going to go a fourth time. Why are you so persistent? Why do you so badly want to serve in the legislature?
Because I don't have any quitting sense. Look at Abraham Lincoln. I mean, what was it, 6, 7 times he took a shot at it and never made it. But this is a goal that I have. Matter of fact, in my high school graduating class, we had the prophecies, and Jan Hauser was going to be president of the United States, and I was going to be vice president. So it's been a 50-year, it's been all my life. I want to do this.
I understand.
I want to make a difference.
I want to give you a chance to highlight differences with your opponent on November 4, if you want to.
Sure. And again, I want to make this a public statement that what I have to say, I'm not bad-mouthing him or saying bad things about him. I don't have to do that to win this campaign. But I think the biggest issue between me and my opponent is the fact that for 42 years, I have signed checks on the front side of checks. I've signed a few on the back that were payroll checks made to me and things like that. But in the job position, creating jobs that I've been in, I've had salesmen that wanted a new truck and they never got one. They wanted a new car and they never got one. They got a used one. Maybe they had to fix the old one. Some things in the convenience store, it'd be nice to have a new freezer. We can't do it. And I've had to make these decisions, sound business decisions, for 42 years. And I'm ready to go to Madison. I'm ready to go down there and do whatever it takes to make it happen. I'm going to make decisions that people aren't going to like, and I'm going to make decisions that people like. But that's what I've done for 42 years. So I'm used to it.
Thank you. James Edming, of Glen Flora, is the Republican candidate in Assembly District 87. Jimmy, thanks for talking to Wisconsin Eye.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you.